Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 2 of our broadhead testing, and today we're going to go over the Tuffhead Evolution 3-blade in a 150 grain. This is a sweet head. I'm really excited to shoot this one for you guys. But before we shoot it, we're going to go over some specs, some of the design features, materials used, what it is that I like about this head, why I chose this as one of the heads to shoot. Then we're going to shoot it at 60 yards again, so stay tuned. All right, guys, real quick, I want to give a shout out to Lusk Archery and John Lusk. In my opinion, he does the best broadhead testing out there. He's got a great channel. He tests everything apples to apples. So he's not necessarily shooting a whole bunch of animals with these heads and giving you guys reviews, because you really can't test one head compared to another apples to apples shooting animals, because every animal's built a little bit different. You're always going to hit a little bit different spots. You're never going to have really good, consistent test setup or a test method, and that's what John has established. So I love his channel, and that's why we've got some of the heads that we have here today. Not only do they fly well, but they also perform very well in his tests. So thank you, John. All right, I'm over here on the Tuffhead website. Let's go through real quick before we start shooting some specs, design features, why it is that I picked this head for you guys. And just to be perfectly transparent, once again, I'm part of the Sirius Archery field staff team. That's something I personally had to apply for. Was very honored, very happy when I got accepted to that team. And Sirius Archery owns Tuffhead. So I did have to buy these heads, but I got them at a slight discount. I think I paid either 90 or 95 bucks for 3 of them. So just wanted to lay that out there again for full transparency. And again, I have the 150 grain version, but this broadhead comes in a 200 and 300 grain version, as well as that 150. So you got a lot of point weight options. And really, you guys, the reason I picked this head is because it kind of checks all the boxes for me as far as a broadhead goes. It is designed for maximum penetration, which is what I want. It is designed to be extremely tough and extremely durable. It is designed to fly well and is designed to be easy to sharpen. And we're going to highlight those things right now. So this broadhead has a 1-inch cutting diameter, but a very long, kind of skinny profile to it. That is really what is going to make it penetrate super, super well. I'm not concerned with cutting diameter at all. I would rather have penetration, and this broadhead is designed to penetrate. It's also designed to be an absolute tank as far as durability, toughness, edge retention, all that stuff. It is once again machined out of a solid piece of steel, but this broadhead uses premium steel. Uses S7 tool steel. They don't disclose the hardness. I'm guessing there's a little secret sauce with how they heat treat this broadhead and what hardness it is. But know that S7 tool steel is an extremely hard, extremely tough, extremely durable steel. You are going to have a really, really, really hard time breaking this thing. So you do not need to worry about its structural integrity. Now, one of the downsides to a hard steel like S7 is they can be a difficult broadhead to resharpen when you need to. But one of the benefits of this 3-blade design is the 3 blades in conjunction with the bevel angle that they have on each blade makes it so that you can sharpen this head just flat on a sharpening stone. You don't have to worry about matching the bevel angle or figuring out how to resharpen it and make sure you don't screw that bevel angle up. You literally just lay it flat on a sharpening stone and resharpen it, and then you can lay it flat on a strop if you want to and rehone that edge to get it back to razor sharp. It's also got a really nice pyramid point here. Hopefully you guys can see that if I zoom in a little bit, or maybe you can see it even a little bit better on this one. So they changed the point angle from the blade angle just to add some more material up there, make it less of a needle point, more of a pyramid point. That's just going to help make sure that that tip doesn't roll or bend for you, make sure that the broadhead doesn't skip or anything if it hits a hard bone. It's just going to add toughness to the tip. It's also got a machined in ferrule that add structural integrity, but this cup design, or this kind of like spoon design, if you want to call it that, also helps aid in flight for this broadhead. So that's going to help this thing fly really, really well. It's ceramic coated. So a ceramic surface, as you guys know, with like your frying pans and stuff, it's a really slick surface. So that's going to aid in penetration. It's also going to make this broadhead really corrosion resistant for you. Lastly, a lot of little details, attention to detail goes into these heads before they send them to you guys. So these heads are going to come hand stropped. So the edge on them is razor sharp. I can attest it is a fantastic edge right out of the package for you guys. They're going to come spin tested. So before they send them to you, they're going to make sure each broadhead spins true and as they should, being a premium head out of premium materials from a top tier company, these heads have a lifetime warranty. So if you do end up breaking one, you can exchange it and get a new head for free. Tuffhead Evolution shot 1. All right, Tuffhead second shot. If you watched our Tooth of the Arrow broadhead review, you guys know I've got one arrow that is just shooting absolute garbage for broadhead. So something is up with this. I think it's fletching interference in my SWAT X1 barrel, but we're gonna go ahead and shoot it anyways, just so you guys can see how consistent the other two arrows are, and then that this one really does fly erratic no matter what broadhead you put on the front of it. Tuffhead shot 3. All right, here's the hole that those Tuffhead Evolutions are putting in my target. Not a very big hole. This broadhead is definitely built for penetration with that kind of long, skinny profile, much less for cutting diameter or hole size that it's gonna put in an animal. But as you can see, definitely smaller than that of the Tooth of the Arrow XL 150. All right, guys, here is the 2-shot group with the Tuffhead Evolution 150 grains at 60 yards. Again, we are culling the third shot because similar to the Tooth of the Arrow video that I did, that particular bolt was shooting 3 different broadheads very erratically. There was no consistency to how it shot them whatsoever, and it shot that other Tuffhead Evolution way up here. So we're gonna cull that. I apologize again for not having a true 3-shot group for you. But all in all, this is kind of what I expect a little bit from broadhead flight, flying a little heavy. I mean, that is a big, long broadhead there. Even though it has a small cutting diameter, it does have a lot of blade surface area with its length. So for it to shoot, you know, I guess if you consider this a group, you know, it's pretty good left to right, at least as a group goes, right? Right in between them is pretty much dead center with my point of aim. They're just shooting about, like, this is a 3-inch circle right here. So if I turn that down, I mean, maybe a little more, I would call it 3.5 to 4 inches low at 60 yards. So these broadheads, you guys, I really like them. I mean, they are built like tanks. They were penetrating on some shots. I mean, all the way to the fletching at 60 yards in this block target. So they are definitely built for some serious penetration. You know, if I was gonna pick this broadhead to hunt with and make sure I can find or build another arrow that's gonna shoot that third one somewhere in this same range, I would be comfortable making, you know, about a 3 to 4 inch scope adjustment at 60 yards and shooting them at some other hunting ranges just to make sure that these would work in a hunting application. But all in all, I mean, not too shabby for a very long profile 3-blade in the Tuffhead Evolution. All right, everyone, what did you think of the Tuffhead Evolution 3-blade 150? Please, before I do my assessment of this head, post down in the comments below. I want to hear your assessment of what you saw and what you know this head kind of is and how it's designed, the features of it, the materials that it used. So right now, pause this video if you have to. Post down in the comments below. So my assessment, I'm gonna try to make this as short-winded as possible, but I really want to give just a good, honest assessment of this. Truth be told, this is the head more than any other head on the market that I want to shoot. It checks so many boxes for me as far as what it is, what it does. It is designed to penetrate like an absolute beast, and that is what I want more than anything in a broadhead. I personally value penetration over cutting diameter. It is built to be a tank. It is designed with structural integrity in mind. It's designed using S7 tool steel, which is a super hard, super tough steel. It's going to hold a great edge, but it's also designed to be easy to sharpen. And sharpening is not one of my strong points. That's honestly why I've moved away from some of the more premium single bevels. Not because they didn't perform well, just because I am not good at sharpening them. And this, it's designed with the bevel angle that it has, the ability for me to sharpen it on a flat sharpening stone and then hone it on a strop flat. That is a huge, huge plus for me. The only thing with this head, I'm a little, I don't want to say disappointed. It flew a little heavier than I expected it to
at 60 yards. Now, granted, 60 yards is a long shot with a crossbow, with a compound bow, with any archery equipment. Okay, that is a long shot. That is a shot that in most of my hunting applications, hunting from a tree, having to shoot offhand or just kind of resting on my knee, not using a tripod or anything like that, that is a shot that I'm not going to take. Typically, my tree stand setup shots need to be 40 yards and in, but I do have some setups where with that tripod, with that bog death grip, I do personally feel comfortable with my ability to rest and squeeze off a good shot at 60 yards. And this just flew a little heavier than I wanted it to. I did like how it was left to right, the fact that it flew heavy. I'm not uncomfortable making that 4 inch, we'll just call it 4 inch adjustment at 60 yards. And I do want to try this at some more typical hunting ranges for me and probably for you too in that 30, 40 yard range. The only problem that I'm worried with is that it's going to penetrate so far into my block target. I might jack up some more of my fletchings on those arrows that I've built, and honestly, that's how I think I screwed up that one arrow, was from testing this off camera and having it bury so far into that block target at 60 yards that some memory was just left in that those fletchings, and that is what's causing interference with my SWAT X1 barrel. This broadhead, you guys, it's a fantastic head. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start mixing and matching broadheads. I did this a video on this last year, that there's tolerance built into every head, whether it's a machined head out of a solid piece of steel or whether it's a replaceable blade head, whether it's a mechanical, it doesn't really matter. There's tolerances built into everything. And mixing and matching both your arrows with your broadheads to find kind of that perfect pair that just shoot the best, that is something that I'm going to do. So I'm going to start mixing and matching some of my arrows with each of these heads, numbering them, finding the pairs that shoot best together, and kind of see where I get. And if it, still flies a little low at that 60-yard mark, I'm going to be okay making that scope adjustment, just because this head to me, it's fantastic. I would give it an A plus on everything for me personally, with the exception of the the flight, the heavy flight. And it didn't fly bad. It just flew heavier than I thought it would. So if I had to give it an A plus on everything, I'd give it a B, B minus on, how heavy it flew. And I'm going to make some adjustments or tinker around a little bit to see if I can get this to fly where I am a little bit more comfortable, especially if I do have it in a hunting scenario where I can shoot 60 yards. So that is my assessment, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do me a favor, please hit that like button down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. And we've got another broadhead coming up for you. My all-time favorite, at least at this point in the game, that is the Magnus Stinger 150 grain two blade. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. I hope you enjoyed. Remember, be a sportsman, make a sportsman.